They flash the sign of the horns of the devil and slash with machetes.
And they don't strike with a bullet, they strike with a blade.
They bring the guerrilla warfare of Central America to the streets of the U.S. and maybe even your hometown.
We're gonna multiply, and we're gonna multiply in big numbers.
The MS-13 has a potential presence in just about every community in this country.
Mara Salvatrucha, also known as MS-13.
We're gonna retaliate. We're gonna defend ourselves. You know what I mean?
Roll with one of the most terrifying and widespread street gangs in America.
We live the day by the day, not knowing if we're gonna be alive tomorrow.
And ride with the police units tasked to put the gangsters behind bars.
Get up against the wall. Hands on the wall.
Or give them a one-way ride on Con Air. They call themselves Mara Salvatrucha, better known as MS-13. They are the most violent gang in the U.S.
There's nobody that survives an MS-13 attack. You know, if they intend to kill you, you're gonna die. They pride themselves on the amount of violence that they use against their victims.
10,000 strong, their reach extends across much of the United States. The gang's violence is rooted half a world away and begins nearly 3 decades earlier, during the Civil War in the Central American country of El Salvador. In the 1980s, refugees and soldiers of that bloody conflict fled to America.
We were running away from the war in El Salvador, and we thought over here we were going to be in peace. But we arrived and it was a different kind of war.
The already crowded Latino neighborhoods in cities like Los Angeles shun the newcomers.
It was bad because when you come here, it's a different language, different culture.
A man we'll call Santana is a longtime MS-13 member in Los Angeles.
I guess they see us inferior because, you know, you could tell that they thought we were nobody. So we had to kind of do something about that, you know what I mean?
The established street gangs rob, extort, and terrorize the new immigrants. To survive, the Salvadorans form their own gang, one that's far more violent than any rival.
Because MS represent our culture, our people, not in the good way, but in the bad way. Hard-working Salvadorian people represent the good side of El Salvador. MS, for a lot of people, might represent the bad side of El Salvador, but the thing that people don't understand is when we started this back in the 80s, we did this for protection of our own people. Now, if you're Salvadorian and you go somewhere, they're gonna think about it twice. And before, they see you like a piece of shit. It's more about dignity and pride. It's about your country, your culture, who you are.
It is believed they take their name from the Salvatrucha guerrillas who fought in El Salvador's Civil War, and Mara from La Mara, a street in San Salvador. And like dozens of Mexican-American street gangs, they also claim the number 13. The meaning varies by clique. For some, the number relates to the 13th letter of the alphabet, M. To police, 13 has a more deadly interpretation.
The significance of the 13. 1 shot to the head, 3 to the body, or vice versa. 1 to the body, 3 to the head.
Many MS-13 members come from the farms and plantations of El Salvador and have turned a farmer's tool into their weapon of choice.
The machete also is one of the tools they use for butchering meat and killing goats and cattle and stuff like that. So they're pretty handy with machetes, as well as working out in the fields, working their crops and stuff in Central America with a machete. So they're real familiar with a machete. It's just like an extension of their hand.
Since little, every parent gets their kids to start learning how to use one. That's a natural thing. That's the way I came into it. I was always chopping up wood for my grandparents out there, and now they just stay with me, you know. It's an easy weapon to use if you know how to use it.
Law enforcement suspects some gang members have extensive paramilitary training in El Salvador, which makes them a double threat.
That's a big fear for us when we run across a group of them, because they have the same similar weapons that we do and similar training.
The gang member known as Rata leads an MS-13 clique in Houston, Texas.
We're gonna make you see us. Yeah. We're gonna make you remember. If you're gonna stay alive, we're gonna make you remember who we are, what we did. You ain't gonna even wanna come back and do a revenge on us. Because if you do that, you know your whole family is gonna be dead. You come up running and you got a machete, that's it.
You're more of a man when you use your hands instead of a bullet, because a bullet can shoot anything, hit anything, you know? I can just come behind you and cut your throat, that's it, you know?
It's like, we'll chop you out. We chop one of your legs out. Just make yourself and put the leg right next to you.
Police say they are among the most dangerous criminals they have ever encountered.
Absolutely, they do a lot of body mutilations and dismemberments and, you know, just making statement killings a lot of times. You know, want everybody to know this was an MS-13 killing. The level of violence is real high when it comes to MS-13.
Coming to America, they gravitate to the towns and suburbs, not just the big cities.
MS-13 is nationwide. You know, they're from the West Coast to the East Coast, down in the South. You know, they started out in LA. They were protecting themselves from the other gangs, and then they just migrated all over the United States, you know, the land of plenty.
No town of any size is immune to their violent ways.
People say, yeah, we don't own this, but they don't know what we go through every day and night. We walk these streets, we drive around these streets. We shoot in target like he said. Ain't nobody like us. They know who we are and they know what we do.
The Harris County Sheriff's Department also knows who they are. A cultural melting pot, Houston is home to a significant Salvadoran population.
This is a mostly El Salvadorian and Honduran neighborhood. The apartment complexes, a lot of El Salvadorian and Honduran restaurants and shops, gas stations. Mostly all the business over here are owned by people from El Salvador and Honduras.
Over 90 languages are spoken in the city. But sheriff's deputies say the streets have a cryptic code all their own. Hitting the streets, they quickly roll upon MS-13 graffiti. The gang uses these symbols to mark their turf. They also use it to communicate. Police view it as the first sign of imminent violence.
We got to find out what's going on as cops. They talk all the time, they pass word around. They're talking right now when they're doing this logo and this graffiti stuff. Somebody's sending a message. We know you're here. We don't want you here. We're crossing through your stuff. We're blatantly disrespecting you, and come on with it.
On this day, investigators try to crack the communication between MS-13 and its longtime rival, the Southwest Cholos.
They're equally as violent. SWC is known for running this part of town as far as gang activity is concerned. They were here first in this area. SWC's been here for a long time.
In recent months, the turf war between the two gangs has intensified. MS-13 members slit the throat of a Southwest Cholo in the parking lot of an apartment complex. Weeks later, a 16-year-old MS-13 member was shot and killed in retaliation.
They're just some little punk asses. They like to jump people, and we don't. We like to fight one-on-one.
About the side with Cholos, man, fuck them motherfuckers, huh? Because they could die.
It was never gonna stop when they killed my friend. You know, they came and retaliated. We're coming back. They just don't know when and how. They started it, we'll finish it.
No, it's a lot of violence, you know. But you know, We're violent people. Just don't f with us, that's it. That's all we ask. Killing doesn't put us down for sh. It brings us up, makes us feel good.
Evidence of an all-out gang war covers block after city block.
That's the scary part. That's the dangerous part because they're living in each other's backyard right now.
Coming up next, MS-13 tears apart a New York community. Then, a young man gunned down on the street launches a desperate manhunt. "1,500 miles from Texas, Nassau County on Long Island is plagued with the same menacing threat. Just east of New York City, Nassau County is a world away from the congestion and crime of Gotham. But this genteel and exclusive community has an unwelcome resident. A machete-wielding street gang known as Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13. The gang is claiming large sections of the city. They are dealing drugs and warring over turf. Their vicious tactics make stopping MS-13 a priority for Nassau County Police.
In Westbury, it's just been stabbings. We think it's the same group.
Right, we have 3 or 4 other cases.
All the same. All stabbings
same
and usually in the back.
Same MO, right.
On a typical Friday night in Nassau County, the gang unit gears up to patrol MS-13 territory.
We expect that there'll be retaliation on either end this weekend. There's still a lot of activity in the county with MS-18th Street, a couple shootings, a couple stabbings.
There was a gang-related killing just last weekend. The MS clique in Nassau County is locked in a violent rivalry with the 18th Street gang. After the recent killing of an MS member by an 18th gangster, police fear this hot summer night promises still more bloodshed.
The way in putting fear is really hurting people, cutting them up, letting them all know. They'll let them know who they are.
So they're really ruling through intimidation and fear.
One of the suspects in a recent knife attack is an MS enforcer, known on the streets as Lucky.
Right now, I just saw the name Lucky. That was mentioned in the case I picked up yesterday. They can ID who this Lucky person is.
Within minutes of hitting the streets,
Yeah, there's a big MS.
the gang unit finds graffiti.
Here's more graffiti right here. You can see right here a big M and a big S. And then you can see it's crossed out with black spray paint right here. And if you come over here, you'll see the rival gang tagged over MS-13. They wrote SWP-15 right here. So that's the rival gang.
MS-13 and SWP, Salvadorans with pride, have been enemies for 2 decades.
So some sort of a beating or some sort of a shooting or stabbing, something will happen as a result of this disrespect. I mean, it tells a story is what it does.
Streets that are full of families by day are ruled by gangsters after dark. On this night, police hope they can stop the violence between these rivals before it erupts. At 11 p.m., officers spot a group gathered on the street and suspect it could be something more sinister.
Oh, hold on, amigo.
Open bottles, or did they picked up something?
As police approach,
Yep, he's off. I got him.
Got him?
one of the suspects grabs something off the ground and takes off.
I'll stay. Let's go, 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 go.
Policia.
But his drinking buddies don't have time to escape.
Get up against the wall. Hands on the wall. Turn around, look at me.
What is that about?
What happened here? How'd you get the stab wound?
When I was really young, I got stabbed.
Why'd he run?
Honestly, I don't know.
Who was with you? What's his name?
I'm not listening.
Do you realize how absurd that is? We saw him grab something from the ground and he ran away.
You okay?
And he's with you, and we saw you all hanging talking, and then you tell me that you don't know who he is.
You think he had a ratchet?
But we saw. You gotta remember, we're watching you.
Okay.
Andy, listen to me right now. You're gonna go to jail. I'm gonna lock you up unless you give me your friend's name. I want his name right now.
I was kind of with him, then he bounced in there. It's all wooded.
No, I know.
I'm
It's a
not
tough
going in
spot unless you had help.
The officers determine it is too dangerous to chase the suspected gang member into the dark woods.
Stop picking up all these bottles. All right, you're gonna throw them in the garbage.
But they don't go away empty-handed.
You should do better than that.
I just want to see your leg. You got anything on your legs? Any hot things on your legs?
Put your hands down in the bottle. I'm taking you a picture.
That's for us.
Take a picture.
Instead of taking you to jail, we take a picture.
You know what? Shh. Ask them to PD. They got plenty of me.
No.
We are
about
CPD.
them. Take this off.
We just sent them a message. That behavior is not going to be tolerated. We got lucky with that. You got something.
For police, information is their best weapon. The photos go into a regional database of known and suspected gang members.
We try to find out their nicknames, affiliates, associations, all those things. And then we will generate this report and we send this out. My function is to try and identify these individuals, try to find out what they're involved with, and then quite possibly subsequently in the end, get an arrest and a conviction.
In the war against gang violence, police need every advantage.
These guys are extremely dangerous. We're starting to see an increase in guns when in the past they were just doing a lot of stabbings, but now we're seeing guns. Don't get me wrong, they still do the stabbings, but the guns have increased as well.
For police, it's a disturbing trend.
The public on a whole is even more at risk when it comes down to something like that, because they arbitrarily shoot, and that's extremely dangerous, and that makes our job a little dangerous as well.
All right, boys and girls. Okay.
For gang crimes involving guns, the Nassau County Police have technology on their side. A system of sensors set up in high-risk neighborhoods detect gunfire.
It all happens here. This screen runs in the background at the dispatch console. When there is shots fired, there'll be an alert that sounds. It'll immediately pop up to the area of where the shots are being fired. And what you heard there is an actual recording of the shots that were fired.
Within seconds of the shots being fired, dispatchers can send officers to the scene.
In real simple terms, it's something's going bang, something's figuring out how long it takes to get to a known point, and then it matches that against all the other known points in that sensor array, which gives us the position of where this event took place.
As the police approach to gang violence evolves, so does MS-13. More experienced gang members from El Salvador are teaching new MS-13 members how to commit crimes.
And they have the most knowledge on what to do, how to do it, and they feed the knowledge to the younger guys, like how to stab, where to get rid of the guns, how to hide the guns, how to collect the money, and use the money to buy other guns, and things like that.
They also teach younger members how to elude police.
They were learning that they should have a car, a second car to jump into if they're shooting, to change, so they're not driving around the same car that they saw out of the shooting. They'll change their shirts, so they mix. One guy might walk away and two guys will drive away. He'll change his shirt, walk away. So now when you're looking for three in a car, there's only two in a completely different car.
In the fight against a secretive organization like MS-13, knowing who they're dealing with is half the battle. In the early days of Mara Salvatrucha, gang members would immerse themselves in ink.
Traditionally, tattoos in the MS-13 were used as signs of power and signs of status within the gang, especially tattoos that were above the neckline and on the face and the forehead.
Then police started documenting gang tattoos.
See, they know that we're out there doing this. So what they're trying to do is, of course, try to hide their gang affiliation now. So can't deny, oh, this is just, I like the number 13. No, you're affiliated with a gang member at some point. See, if you go to a recent picture of the same arm, now it's gone because he covered it up with this.
The intelligence gathered by the gang unit is collected into a central database that can be accessed by officers on patrol.
These are the people in the first precinct that have warrants on them. We let the cops on the street know who those people are.
Now, when police make a stop, they know if they're dealing with a member of a violent gang. Back on the streets, with each passing hour, the danger of gang violence grows. The gang unit joins a massive police raid on a bar that's frequented by MS-13.
You can see all the police activity up here now. What happened here tonight, this is a known MS-13 gang location, and a couple of units from within our department did a licensed premise check on this. They went in looking for any violations with the State Liquor Authority. They went with the fire marshals, our Bureau of Special Operations, plainclothes details, looking to find any violations that were occurring inside of this licensed premise.
But just as the investigation wraps up, word comes over the radio. A 16-year-old boy is attacked by a group of gang members and repeatedly stabbed. A vicious crime that has MS-13 all over it.
But it appears right now that the victim suffered multiple stab wounds to his back, and he was being rushed to trauma right now. We don't know what his condition is, but the two other SAS detectives are actually on their way to the hospital right now. Eddie, what's up? Rich Roddy, how are you? Okay, I got you. Is he willing to play ball or no? Okay. We're actually right now en route to Winthrop Hospital. We have a guy who was stabbed multiple times in the back by MS-13 gang guys. So we're actually heading over there to interview the victim.
If the victim talks, it could be a major break.
Hi, bro.
Most victims and witnesses are too afraid to testify against the gang.
You think this group's for us?
It's not related to that, is it?
It could be.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Within minutes, officers arrive at the hospital.
Must have been a house party.
Yeah.
But they are already too late.
This is now officially a homicide. We've been notified by the emergency staff here that the person who was the victim of stab wounds is now deceased.
Zach Rosales, the victim, was walking home from a movie when attacked by 8 Hispanic men, calling him the enemy. Witnesses identify the MS-13 gangster known as Lucky. The police put out an APB on Lucky and his accomplices.
You know a guy named Lucky, do you?
Yeah, we're looking
As
for
a
him.
matter of fact, I've been talking about
I have
him
his
all
picture.
day.
I've been working on it tonight. We've been looking for him.
How many guys did it? 3?
He said there was 8.
Wow.
There's Lucky again.
Yep. See that? What a coincidence.
It's the same guys. Boom, 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 Lucky, Piedra.
Unbelievable.
Tego.
We were just looking at that.
That's what happens. Once you run into them, they'll go on a spree. That's the way it just always happens. All these stabbings look like it's the same group of people. Lucky's MS. It's the same one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, he was 18, right?
Well,
But the killers melt back into the streets. And a community wakes up to bloodstains and a shrine marking the place where a teenage boy lost his life. Coming up next, MS-13 members unlock the gang's secrets. For the bloody street gang known as Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13, the violence is intoxicating.
It's unexplainable. That rush that I had each time that I did a job or each time that I did a drug deal, each time that I shot somebody, it was like that rush that I have in my heart, it was like, it's like being almost like in a roller coaster. When you're going up and they let you going down, all that rush that gets in your heart, that's a rush that we have every single time we do something like that.
Like mentally, it changes you. Like, what should we care? You know, everybody else trying to shoot us, you know, might as well. We gotta do what we gotta do, you know? It's like kill or be killed, you know? That's what happened, you know, everywhere.
MS member Rata and his crew rule a slice of South Houston.
Right here, I'm like in Hollywood being here in Houston. We're famous over here. Anybody would like to be chilling with us. Anybody.
For his crew, guns are a part of everyday life.
Inside my mom's house, I got an AK in there. Anybody walks through that door, I'm blasting them. In my car, I got the shotgun. And under my pillow, I got the 22, and that's it. So we're ready.
And guns are easy to come by, given the gang's connections.
We had a friend that he was part of the army, and we were using him to get the weapons that we needed. We were using him to buy the guns, and he used to report them back stolen, but he would just sell it to us for half of the price that he'll buy them for, and that's the way we got all that money. That's the way we got the money and the guns.
Yeah. You're gonna carry your gun everywhere you go.
When you're happy, I'm gonna go shoot it, I'm gonna go do it, you know?
Yeah.
I'll do it, whatever, you know?
You're too happy with the gun.
Yeah, it's like a game.
It's a game. It's a game.
Playing with fire.
Your life being paranoid. Let's see if you can stay alive.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can stay alive. There's a lot of people that the way I see it is the way a white man got their job. They could work in a big company and they live it by the day. Let's see who could get promoted, the quickest and the fastest, or who could get paid more. The way we do it is, who can we control and how many hoods can we take over, with the drugs and the money coming in.
Like the majority of MS members, Rata was born in the U.S.
I was born here in Houston, but when I was about 9 months old, my mom went back to El Salvador and I went back with her. So I stood out there like until age, probably like I was like 1.5. I came here on my 2nd birthday and I stayed over here. And when I came over here is when I came with my relatives that they were all involved with MS and everything. So I came down with them over here, and that's the way I kind of got started because of my family. And they're one of the original people from MS that started MS over there in El Salvador.
As he grew older, he was lured into the gang life by the perceived respect it brought his older family members.
I did have a choice, but me seeing my cousins and my brother with all this money and they kept on saying, well, we got this, we control this, I felt like they had power. And I wanted to feel like that.
You cannot blame nobody. A lot of people blame, I never had a father. There's a bunch of bullshit. You know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah. Our parents might think that they failed, but no, they didn't. It's just that we're doing it our way, not their way.
But membership comes with a price. All MS-13 candidates must earn their place within the gang with a savage beatdown lasting 13 seconds.
When I got jumped in, oh my God, I was 10 years old when I got jumped in. They jumped me with 3 people. They were older than me. They were probably like about 16, 17 years old. And me getting jumped in by them, it was like, I won't forget that. It was like, I took that as a blessing for me. That I knew what I was gonna become, and I knew that I was heading somewhere that I was gonna be known.
Respect is almost immediate.
Oh man, when I started getting my rep and getting my money, man, it's like everybody knew who I was. Ain't nobody would lay a finger on me. Ain't nobody would look at me, not even twice, because they knew who I was and they knew what was I about. Don't mess with Rata. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with, don't mess with none of his crew members, because if it had to do with our family, we'll come back and just kill whoever you with and you.
By the age of 12, Rata was a full-fledged member charged with the daily workings of the gang.
I'm about to be 12 years old in a week making $1,000. It's crazy. Me, I had to do drive-bys, do drug deals here, I had to jack people for the money.
While the first wave of MS-13 joined the gang for protection and a sense of family not found at home, Rata's generation is all about money.
Without money out there, you ain't nothing. So what other choice you got to get quicker money is the gang life.
Although power is equally as important.
To me, it's pretty much about the power and respect. Those are the two main things. But everything else, I don't care about. But the respect and the power that I'll have, it's worth it. Trust me, I'll go anywhere around Houston and nobody will touch me.
When it comes to MS protecting its turf, both power and respect are deemed necessities.
We see a group of guys walking over there, and we don't know who they are, we're gonna chase them or whatever. Attack them or whatever, you know, without thinking twice. And that's how you control your neighborhood, that's how you control your hood, you know, everything.
But this is our job right here, 7 days a week. This is our job, stay on the block, outside. Getting f***ed up every day. That's our job right there, getting money and being on the block. We don't need no cops. We attack. We attack.
We attack, or either we go up to them and see what he is. If he says something that's wrong,
like I said, we shooting target.
Wearing the wrong color can also be a death sentence.
Let's say somebody's wearing red over there, walking over here or something, and then we're wearing blue here, you know, we're gonna say something about that, you know? You gotta be wearing the right color, because I mean, if I walk around into Cholo Hood wearing all blue, they're gonna shoot me or jump me or something, I'll get out.
MS members proudly display blue and white, the colors of the flag of El Salvador. Coming up, Salvadorans show their pride by wearing the color blue, but a killer may be hiding among them. Later, officers in Houston battle MS as it appears a gang war is imminent. Then, law enforcement cracks down on the gang, and the gang fights back. In Hempstead, Long Island, thousands of immigrants gather for an annual celebration.
Welcome to the Salvadorian Festival!
This is the day they flaunt their pride and their massive numbers. It's a sea of blue and white, the national colors of El Salvador. But gang members also wear the blue and white that to them represents MS-13. The Nassau County Gang Unit also makes a show of force. They are still reeling from a brutal murder only days earlier at the hands of a suspected MS-13 member.
We want to actually let the people know that we are here. We have the El Salvadorian Festival here in Hempstead. And what we're actually doing here is doing some surveillance for some of the gang members that we know, making sure they don't cause any problems within the crowd. We've been taking photos of some of the people, IDing some of the people.
Police are on the lookout for the suspect they believe committed the murder. Even though he's wanted for murder, the MS-13 enforcer known as Lucky could slip into the crowd. Police are also concerned a rival gang will show up to challenge MS-13 members.
We have some information that there might be some gang violence going on today between MS and the 18th Street gang. We definitely expect a large presence of MS-13 members here today.
A few hours into the festival, police noticed rival gang members looking for trouble.
One of our officers out in the street noticed a group of 18th Street, probably about 15 of them walking in down in the middle, and they started throwing some gang signs toward the MS guys.
Signs are specific to each gang, and throwing signs to another gang is seen as disrespect.
We were lucky enough to get a bunch of our officers over there in time and get the 18th Street guys out before any really trouble started.
Police continue to look for gang members. But picking MS-13 out of a crowd of Salvadorans is harder than it's ever been. The sea of blue envelops the patriotic and the gangsters alike. In Houston, Deputy Joel Miller knows those colors are the only consistent clue in trying to identify MS-13.
The colors usually stay the same, but you know, we're looking for bandanas, but they're wearing belts. You know, we're looking for tattoos and they're wearing bracelets or necklaces or dog tags, you know, just whatever they agree to change to throw us off.
All over the country, police are on alert when they see the blue symbols of the gang.
That's the right colors. It could be something significant to MS-13. They like the blue and white, and that's the shade of blue that could probably be a possibility.
On the streets, the gang keeps a low profile, making the job even more difficult for law enforcement.
I think the other gangs like to be in the limelight. MS-13 doesn't. You know, they don't do a lot of high-profile standing out. You don't catch a group of them standing on a corner in a crowd on Friday night. You don't catch a bunch of them riding around in cars. Or I hadn't seen them on YouTube, you know, rap songs telling you where they are with license plates on there, and you just don't see that from MS-13. You got to really look and find them. They kind of hide themselves. They don't ride around with a lot of fanfare and a lot of stuff on them like other members, other groups do. You know, you got to kind of read the tattoos, look for the subtle little logos on the car and the graffiti in the air to even know that they're around.
In fact, it is the gang's bold and brazen graffiti that allows police the greatest advantage.
This is a message to us also. It actually helps us because we know what's going on. Not only do they know what's going on, we know what's going on too.
Once Harris County Sheriff's deputies identify the area as MS territory, they can look for those more subtle signs and make traffic stops.
Where you from?
Salvadoran.
You're Salvadorian? Yeah. How long? We saw this guy, we just randomly checking license plates, so we checked his license plate. It showed that he had no insurance, so that's probably because to stop him. We stopped him on the precept of not having any insurance. He didn't have any ID, no driver's license, no insurance. Asked him where he was from. He was from El Salvador.
But they cannot identify the driver as MS-13. Officers cite him for the violations and let him go.
There's so many people you contact like that. You know, we would constantly be taking people to the lockup center to be deported. There are hundreds of thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of undocumented people here that don't have any driver's license, don't have any insurance, and they're just committing traffic violations. And we get presented with country IDs, not the United States, all the time. And, you know, we just issue a lot of citations. The citation turn into warrants, we put them in jail, they serve their fines, and they back out driving again in a couple of days. The volume that we would be faced with for deportation would be overwhelming for any agency. ICE couldn't handle it, we couldn't handle it, none of the police agencies could handle it.
It's something Houston authorities deal with day in and day out. However, deportation is one of the most powerful weapons in law enforcement's arsenal. And it's reserved for the most violent offenders, those like MS-13.
A lot of guys are El Salvadorian descent. They weren't born here. And that makes them more dangerous just because guys that were born here know our laws. They think they're going to spend a lot of time in jail. They think they're going to get deported back to El Salvador. You know, they think their life's ruined, their life's over with. And so that's my theory. That's why I believe they're more dangerous, is because they don't know that you get a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance with our criminal justice system here in the United States. They don't want to get deported and go back to El Salvador. They want to stay here, where it's a better life.
Not far from MS-13 turf in Houston is the regional headquarters of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, where 36 convicted criminals and 9 MS-13 members go through processing prior to boarding a Conair flight to El Salvador.
No shoelaces. How many you guys go? 2. Okay, 2 more.
Someone who is MS-13 and not an American citizen can automatically be removed from the country and banned from returning for 20 years. ICE officers fingerprint the prisoners, shackle them at ankles and wrists, and spell out the harsh conditions of deportation.
Okay, this is a warning that you cannot return to the United States illegally for 20 years.
In case you return, you may be subject to incarceration of 2 to 20 years and a fine up to $250,000. You do have the option to come back.
Several thousand gang members have been deported in this way. It is unquestionably a blow to the gangs.
It hurts because once in a while, we gotta help them take care of the kids that they live here, you know? And then we gotta still figure out a way how to bring them back.
What's also certain is that many MS-13 find their way back to the U.S.
They boast about it. You know, I'll go ahead and send me back. I'll be back in a week. I'll be back in a month. We just did an ICE deal a couple of days ago where one of the guys was recognized by the agent as being deported less than a month ago, and he's already back.
Last one, coming through.
Deportation is not a deterrent at all because it's so easy to return. You know, it takes longer to go through the ICE system or the deportation system than it does to actually cross and come back into the country. So it's just a revolving door.
If they do want to come back, we put the money together. So we all have families deported already, at least once. And it's hard. Everybody goes through it.
The deportees board a van for the transfer to the plane. MS-13 gang members get confined to a cage-like area with metal screens. ICE officers remove 9 MS-13 gangsters from the country, for a time at least. Next, as MS-13 spreads across the U.S., police brace for the worst from a gang that refuses to back down. Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13, has been wreaking havoc across the United States for nearly 3 decades. For law enforcement, deportation is one way to slow down the growth of this dangerous gang. MS-13 members who are American citizens cannot be deported. But for these gangsters, the law reserves its most potent tool: federal prison sentences.
There's an extra hammer with a federal prosecution. Some of the local gang members, because they've been in and out of the system so many times, they just don't have that fear of local incarceration. You know, it's a whole different ballgame when they're facing a federal prosecution. All of a sudden, when they're federally convicted, they could find themselves in a federal institution out in Idaho or on the West Coast.
Prosecutors charge gang members with violations under the RICO laws for racketeering and conspiracy. When convicted, they face federal stretchers that are often long and always served in full.
When an individual gets sentenced in the federal system, you know, to 25 years, they're going to serve 25 years. So they're really removed, you know, they're removed from the streets for a significant period of time.
Federal prison sentences take the gang members off the streets, but the threat of lengthy jail time has not deterred the spread of MS-13.
The MS-13 has a potential presence in just about every community in this country.
And the gang shows no sign of letting up.
I think we're gonna end up coming more powerful than any other gang in the world. We're gonna multiply, and we're gonna multiply in big numbers. We're gonna take control of everything.
For MS, expansion is easy.
It's not that how can we recruit, it's just the way we take care of each other. People see that, and young little kids see that. We got other little kids, or other family members that they don't want to have no part about this, but their little friends see how we take care of each other. They see, oh man, your cousin is cool, he does this. They take care of each other. How can I get down with them? And that's how it gets started. They want to get down. We tell them how to get down, and they just got to put in work. It's just that we got to see you put in work. We got to see you that, we got to test you out. We got to see that you're not going to be a snitch. You're not gonna turn your back on us when hard times come around. And as soon as we see that they're worth to be with us, they get initiated.
Gang members say the sense of family MS-13 offers is the main draw.
It's the way they take care of each other. The family, it comes together. They got different sets of MS, but when it comes down to MS doesn't matter what set you are. We come together as a family, and what we do, that's unstoppable.
And they boast law enforcement is no match for a family the size of theirs.
We're gonna end up coming more powerful than any other gang in the world. We're gonna take control of everything. I'll give it another 10 years and people will really know who we are.
Rata also vows their reign of terror will never stop.
You come at us, if you don't kill us, we're coming back at you. And we're coming back strong. And ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Whatever you do, it comes back twice to you. Ain't nobody will touch us, nobody. Whoever tries, they won't get far.
Still, they admit the life is not without sacrifice.
The worst I remember is when my friend died in front of me. That's like 06. I mean, I never thought, you know, it would get to that point. That's when it got more serious, when I seen my friend die in front of my arms and his brother's arms, you know? Your head gets really messed up. You don't feel no pity after that. You know, you have no remorse or anything no more. I mean, it's just real deep. It gets deeper and deeper through the years. Like, I seen friends get shot, I seen friends die in front of me. I went in jail, people got in jail, people got deported, you know, things like that, you know?
But authorities have their own philosophy.
It's a big cat and mouse game between law enforcement and the gang members and then gangs amongst themselves. How we stay on top of it, the main part is being out here, being proactive, stopping them, talking to them, talking to citizens, talking to business owners. You know, the streets talk, the streets will tell us what's going on.
Meanwhile, in upstate New York, luck finally runs out for the gangster they call Lucky. Christian Sandoval is nabbed 4 weeks after the murder of 16-year-old Zach Rosales. Sandoval and Fuentes Gonzalez are charged with second-degree murder. And so it is, another day in the life of a Mara Salvatrucha gang member.
We choose our life where we want to live, and we choose how we're gonna live.
A lot of people give a lot of excuses that they didn't have parents, but you know, if you want to be somebody, you're gonna be somebody. If you want to succeed and go on the right path, you're gonna be somebody.
It doesn't matter if I die or not, I'm gonna be known.